I know maybe the audio has been a little low, so I'm using headphones today. Hope it's better. tytnetwork.com/go. If you don't know, now you know. Can't say the second word. Not second word. Can't say that other word because it's a bad word and I'm not allowed to say it. It's inappropriate for me. So, I don't know what I'm getting at. But anyway, definitely go check out all of our videos. La da da, you know the plug. So, just wanted to do this quick video because I never get sick of talking about how out of touch the Democratic establishment is. So it's incredibly frustrating because while, yes, a lot of the liberal media and a lot of the people who are basically like Slate or Salon or anybody who's involved in the progressive media and lives in their lofts in Brooklyn and wants to just talk about deplorables and wants to talk about how the Republicans are horrible. Yes, I completely agree. But why you guys come to us is because we're going to also call out the Democrats, and when they're out of touch and when they're ridiculous. We already know that the Republicans are insane. We already know that they don't have the best interests of the working people in mind. But the Democrats, in theory, and since the 60s and since the Southern Strategy, were supposed to be the party of the working people. It is no longer that way, and I think anyone with two eyes and two ears and a brain that works in between those two things can actually see that. But unfortunately, the Democratic leadership is still in that mindset because if they had to admit that they were not doing the correct thing, that they were not actually representing working Americans, then that would deeply hurt their ego and would say that maybe they haven't been doing that good of a job. But people like Bernie Sanders say, no, the Democrats have had some failings. They're substantially better than the Republicans, Bernie would say, but they still have things to work on. That's what any rational human being would say when you've lost every single public elected office in this election, from president to the pest control. I don't even know if that's a state-run agency, but they lost it anyway. So this is what Nancy Pelosi said on Tuesday to Andrea Mitchell on MSNBC. I'm reading from Breitbart. I watched the video though, so this is a direct quote, but like kind of annoying that no other mainstream outlet is going to talk about it and I have to read this stupid stuff on Breitbart. So Pelosi said that while Democratic presidential nominee, former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton won the popular vote, that's like saying you got more runs in the World Series. I agree. She added, I think that the Democrats have always been there for America's working families, that was not communicated as clearly as it should have been in the election with all of the interventions. And frankly, the focus that was placed in the media on emails and hacking and the like, it's a distraction from the message. But let's just take full responsibility for the fact that we stand for it is what is in the interest of America's working families. I think they will see that when they see the policies of President-elect Trump in the White House, that will help differentiate us more clearly. You know what actually would help you differentiate you more clearly? Is to propose things that actually helped working families. So, are Donald Trump's policies going to be substantially worse than what a Democratic president would institute? That remains to be seen, but I think it's pretty clear that it's going to be with all of the people that he's put into his cabinet. But it is your job to put forth legislation that actually makes that distinction clear. And blaming the media is so tired. Both sides do it, and both sides are incorrect. Yes, they showed way too much of Donald Trump during the election and gave him way too much free media. That's from the Democrats' point of view. From the Republicans' point of view, yes, they were in the bag for Hillary Clinton. So those are substantial criticisms, but to say that they didn't focus enough on the substance of her message, Hillary Clinton is meant to communicate the substance of her message. Bernie Sanders, every single time they asked him a horse race question, would divert the attention to the actual policies. And because Hillary Clinton was not that interested in policies, and because the Democratic Party has not been that interested in policies for the past 20 or so years, they did not have an answer for that. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about what legislation Nancy Pelosi has instituted in the past few months, because this goes to show what the Democrats think they can get away with. They think they can get away with no substance and just being a better alternative to the Republicans, because there's nothing here. In December, she proposed, this is a list of legislation co-sponsored or sponsored by her. She proposed to name the Department of Veterans Affairs healthcare system in Long Beach, California, the Tibor Rubin VA Medical Center, working for working families. Another, the second latest, to designate the facility of the United States Postal Service, located at 560 East Pleasant Valley Road, Port Hueneme, California, as the U.S. Naval Construction Battalion Seabees Fallen Heroes Post Office Building. Whew! Third latest, to designate the facility of the U.S. Postal Service, located at another Postal Service designation. Fourth latest, recognizing the opening of the Smithsonian's National Museum of African American History and Culture, the only national museum dedicated to documenting African American life, blah, blah, blah. Fifth, relating to the death of Honorable Mark Takai, the representative from the state of Hawaii. Fourth, the JFK Centennial Commission Act. Seventh, to designate the facility of the U.S. Postal Service. Oh my lord, that is 3 postal services in the top 7 of the most latest things that she has proposed. So, what policies, Nancy Pelosi, are you specifically referring to that are better than Donald Trump's? I know that there are some, but maybe you want to take a chance and go forward and actually sponsor some with some bravery. But that's the issue, is that you just want to play good cop to the Republicans' bad cop and water down their horrific legislation and slow the bleeding for working families in America. But you know what isn't a great campaign tactic? Slow the bleeding. And that's what you guys have been for decades. It's because it's what your party's donors want. They don't want you to be strong. They don't want you to sponsor strong legislation. So if being on the side of working families means that you're going to tap Republicans on the shoulder and say, hey, please don't do that. Please don't do that. Please, and if you do, it's okay, because my donors are going to be happy. I don't know if I feel good about it, but my donors will be okay. Then I don't want that person on my side for working families, if that's what that constitutes. I want someone who's going to put their body in front of the Republican tank and the bulldozer that is the Republicans, and film it on their phone and their GoPro, body cam, whatever, and say, hey everyone, look at this, look at what they're doing, and look how much better I am. I won't allow this. I will not allow this to happen. And that's what Bernie Sanders did. And then I just want to comparatively, I know there's a difference between senator and representative, but listen to what Bernie Sanders is his most recent, I'll do top 7 too. 2 top 7 most recent policy sponsors or co-sponsors. Number 1, the Justice for the Victims of Fraud Act of 2016, co-sponsored with Sherrod Brown, who is also somewhat progressive. Secondly, the National Guard Bonus Payment and Financial Relief Act. Thirdly, the Department of Veterans Affairs Appeals Modernization Act of 2016. Fourthly, Empowering States' Rights to Protect Consumers Act of 2016. Fifth, Voter Empowerment Act of 2015. Sixth, Automatic Voter Registration Act of 2016. Seventh, State Veterans Home Affairs Day Care Improvement Act of 2016. So that's actually substantive legislation. And compare that to what Nancy Pelosi was saying was her bastion of helping working families. Please, please. You can't just do this song and dance anymore where you say stronger together and you don't have any substance to back it up. We have the internet now. How many times do I have to say that to Democrats? We don't just want to slow the bleeding. We want to look up your legislation and see what you're doing for us. So, all right, guys, that's all I have to say. Have a lovely day. Maybe I'm getting a little bit of a cold. It's snowing here in New York and New Jersey. And it's like a little winter wonderland. So I know I'm like complaining as Jordan was in negative 30 degrees in North Dakota. Oh well. All right. Have a great day, my friends.